If you press /, you should see the review command there, ready to use. Let's hit enter and just give it a description. I wanted to check against the master branch, so use it as a base branch. Then I can pick the model. So I'll just pick composer 1 for this and let it run. There's a lot going on, but let's see. It actually found quite a bit of issues in this PR, which is actually pretty good. Hi. This is a repository I created to share any prompts that I find useful in my day-to-day work. Not all of them survive over time, but that's one that did. 9 months ago, I was actually a bottleneck in my team because every code review went through me and I was basically slowing down my team. It was the beginning of the year when AI tools started to be good enough to be actually useful. So I built this prompt as a 10-step process, and it turns any agentic IDE into a relentless reviewer. Again, this repo is public. I will leave the link below. So let's dive in. It's basically only one prompt. So you go there, and I have instructions to use it in Cursor. For Cursor, it's basically just creating the folder for the commands and copying the review markdown file there. You can do it per project or globally. There's a description on how to use it. It's pretty simple. Just try to run this command. You can give it a couple of instructions, like review it against the master branch as the base branch. Make sure to use the full diff. If you have any lints, any tests you want it to run, specify it there, and then you just let it run. As I mentioned, it's a 10-step process. First, we'll check what tools you have available for the get diff. We'll try to understand the context from that diff and any commit messages. We'll call the tools that you provided, use the output for that. We'll find the main goal of your pull request, and we'll try to think on alternative approaches, and we'll compare them against what you did, and we'll give you a certainty score over that. Then it will try to identify any bugs or weirdness in the code, any code smells, and we'll do it line by line. Then it will evaluate the readability and maintainability, the testing coverage, what cases you didn't cover, and then a final rating of the pull request. So how do you use it? Well, in Cursor, you just need to go to Cursor settings, rules and commands, scroll down, and you can add a command globally, give it a name, and just paste the content of the markdown file. You save it, and then it's now available to you. So I have a project here as a basic CLI. I ask it to do a simple feature where it will notify the user that is a new version available for the CLI. So I let it run, and now we're going to review the code. If you press /, you should see the review command there, ready to use. Let's hit enter and just give it a description. I wanted to check against the master branch, so use it as a base branch. Then I can pick the model. I have good results mainly with Opus, but I will use it for more complex PRs. GPT-5 also give me good results. Gemini is a bit verbose for it, but you can try and see if that works for you. And Composer, usually the change is straightforward. So I'll just pick Composer 1 for this and let it run. So I don't have any NCP for Git, so it will just use commands. I will add them to the allow list. So next time it will not ask me again. So it first checked what is the current branch. Then it will try to list what files were updated. It will list all the commits and the messages. It's a feature to check for the latest version. We'll try to get the full diff, and then it will start the analysis. It runs very quick. There's a lot going on, but let's see. You can see at the end, it gives you a recommendation to request changes, add a test, and address a high priority bug before merging. So it sounds like it did find something. Let's see what it did. Okay, so understanding the context. It gives a certainty score. This PR, it adds a new version check utility with a cache of 1 hour, adds integration with the version command, integration with the main CLI, integration with TUI. It did a dependency update, says the implementation is non-blocking and fails silently to avoid disrupting normal usage, which is fine. No linter error detected. We'll need to see if it actually did something, depending on the model, like it usually lies to me. So always check. Okay. So it didn't lie to me. It used the tool provided by Cursor to check for lints. So alternative approaches tells me about the current approach. It looks like it is checking the version by calling the npm endpoint directly. For alternative approaches, it is suggesting me to use libraries for that. It gives me two options, semver and npm check updates. I will need to check on those if those are valid. Gives me pros and cons about it. So the current approach is reasonable, but they may need to consider to handle edge cases better. Okay, fair enough. I would usually prefer to use library for this, if there is one, but I can see that point. Okay, any bugs? So it's telling me it doesn't handle pre-release versions. So it only handles numeric parts, which is fine for this library, but yeah, as soon as I start to use alpha or beta version, for sure will fail. There's no timeout for fetch request. It's good to add a timeout for that, for sure. Basically, I'm parsing the arguments twice. It's a good catch. We may need to remove that. It looks like the version is storing a file. So if the file is corrupted, there could be problems. And it's suggesting to add a cleanup in case that happens, which is a good suggestion. String validation missing. Okay. If npm returns an unexpected format, then the comparison will fail. It actually found quite a bit of issues in this PR, which is actually pretty good. So TTL is hard-coded. Missing import, that is weird. The linter should have called that. So I'm not sure about it. The certainty for this is NA, so I don't know. Update notification placement. It's placed on the top, but consider it might be too prominent or distracting. Okay, fair. I don't care that much. Okay, readability, maintainability. Here, clear function names, documentation, good separation of concerns, caching, fetching, comparison, non-blocking error handling, comments, explain the why. Okay. Areas of improvements. Extracting magic number. Another improvement could be in the version comparison logic. Minor improvements. Okay. What about testing coverage? It lists the cases that I should cover. This is really helpful. It was not a straightforward change. It was simple. There are things that can go wrong. So it's good that it's suggesting me that I have to test on it. Finally, it's giving me a feedback summary. It's separated it into high priority and medium priority things that I should fix. Context specific, performance, no performance concerns, security, that's interesting, UI, and the final rating for it. Code quality, I would give it a lower quality actually for not having tests. Oh, that's another section for test coverage. It should be 0 out of 10. Actually, it doesn't have any. Readability or rating. And as you saw at the end, the recommendation to add tests and address the high priority bugs before merging. That's about it. Let me know what you think and if you would use this as part of your workflow. Thanks for watching.